My name is Brian David Johnson. I'm a futurist for the Intel Corporation, and I'm here at the Feast in New York City to come back and report about the Tomorrow Project. It was a project that we had talked about last year at the Feast, and we wanted to come back and tell about the progress and the things that we had signed up for, but then also to make our own little challenge for next year. So my job as a futurist is to look 10 to 15 years into the future and understand how people will act and interact with technology. Essentially what it'll feel like to be a human and live in the future. And I do that because at Intel, it takes about 5 to 10 years to design, develop, and manufacture the chip. So it's of vital business importance today for Intel to know what people want to do 10 years from now. Well, I think there's a lot of futurists that have made a lot of predictions. That's one of the things that a good friend of mine, Cory Doctorow, says all the time. If you want to make a prediction, it's like darts. If you want to hit a bullseye, throw a lot of them. If you make a lot of predictions, you'll at least get 1 or 2 right. So for me, as a futurist, I refuse to make predictions. For me, I don't want to be the one who makes a prediction and says, I was right. I came in and I said this thing and I was right. It's more important for me to get it right. I want to be the futurist that works with a team of people that develops technologies, that develops services that actually meaningfully touches the lives of people. I want to make technologies that fit into people's lives and actually makes their lives better. The Tomorrow Project is the public side of the future casting work that I do. It goes out and engages people in a global conversation. We ask people, what is the future you want and what is the future you want to avoid? And we ask them to write science fiction stories, to do comic books, to make movies, to write essays based on science fact. So it's science fiction based on science fact to explore the human impact of the future, to kind of have this conversation about futures that we want and futures that we want to avoid. And so the Tomorrow Project's been going on for about 5 years now, and we passed a huge milestone in 2013. We now have over 1,000 stories. We have 1,000 visions of the future that people have sent in to us and put onto the site so that we can actually share it out with the rest of the people. I'm completely humbled by the fact that we have these many visions and this much participation from people in Brazil and in Germany, in the UK, from China, from America, that they've all come together on the Tomorrow Project and been so good to share their visions. The reason why I thought the Tomorrow Project would capture people's imagination was because science fiction gives us a language to talk about the future. That we have to imagine our future before we can build it. We have to imagine a future that we would want, so we have something to aim for, and we have to imagine the future that we don't want, so we have an idea of what to avoid. And there's this rich tradition in science fiction of that type of thinking and that type of thought. And so for myself, I use science fiction in the future casting and the work that I do as a futurist. I use science fiction based on science fact as a way to think about the human impact of literally the products that I'm developing. Today at the Feast, we brought the Tomorrow Project Anthology. This is our newest one. We're launching it today at the Feast. It's called Cautions, Dreams, and Curiosities. And it is a collection of all the science fiction stories and visions and introductions that we've gotten over the past year. And we're super excited about it. It has visions from all over the world. It also has visions from different ages as well, everybody from senior citizens all the way down to teenagers. And the idea was to collect them all together here, and then we're going to post it online so people can go and download them as well. And then the thing that we're really excited about that we announced here today as well is that we are working with our friends from Bing, and Bing gave us a universal translator that we're putting on our site so that anybody anywhere in the world can read the visions of anybody else anywhere in the world in their own language, in their native language. So that this conversation, there's no barriers anymore. There's no language barriers to these conversations. And the challenge that we made today was that machine translation can only get you 90% of the way there. So we're asking people to get us the rest of the way, get us that 10% to go in, and we're going to crowdsource the refining of the stories. And the moment we get 10 stories in any language, we're then going to do a new Tomorrow Project Anthology specifically in that language. And it's my goal to come back next year to the Feast and come back with at least 25 different Tomorrow Project anthologies in 25 different languages.